had something from a record like...
Now, in a crystal itself, you have different, you've got different grades of crystal. And your grade of crystal will determine how good it is for your performance. There are crystals that are very, very powerful, but weak in texture and will fall apart on you. There are crystals that are kind of, the nucleus here is very weak. In other words, it's not a very compact crystal. And so you don't get a very big force field. But the best crystal you can get, and the way you determine this, I don't know, that's up to you. But you could go by where the crystal comes from. Does it come from Arizona? Does it come from Brazil? Wherever, you find out what your crystal contains. And the best crystal you can have is one that contains sodium, potassium, magnesium, and silica. Now, I haven't got the quantities of those. If you've got those four, I'll repeat them. Sodium, potassium, magnesium, and silica, you have the best conductivity. Now, a lot of these crystals have impurities in them. And if they didn't, you'd never see a color in them. It's the impurities that give you the colors, strangely enough, but that's so. If there's no impurities, you wouldn't see the colors. The amount of colors you get in your crystal, there's 6 altogether, and a clear one. You remember I told you on the chart how all the 6 became pure light? Well, we have to still remember that. And the colors that come into the crystal, the visible light, they would only occur where the correct frequencies are in that particular crystal. I was explaining to you the best type of crystal to get for the best conductivity and the best performance. So the clearer the crystal you get, and then of course the clearer your colors. Now the 6 colors themselves, you should make a note of this, because you are going to have to use these measurements when you come to use your colors in the crystal. I would hope that by now you can see the crystals you've got are not to be used like you have probably been using them. You have a new idea how to use crystals. Now, there's a difference between the amount of energy in a light wave and the length of it. We measure light waves in the smallest amount we use is called an angstrom. And I have some numbers here that would tell you when you come to the point of choosing the color to put through your crystal, or choosing the color you want from your crystal, you must have the frequency that will give you this measurement. I'll go back across to the blackboard again, and I'll very quickly write them down so that you can make a note of them. I suggest that you share with each other when you get a chance. Okay, the frequencies and harmonics. We're dealing with the frequencies. And the ultraviolet range, that's outside the range you can see. They go from 2900 angstroms to 3900. Now I'm just going to cross the zeros out. Now violet, that one will be 39. That's from here, okay? 39 to 45. Then you go from 45, that's for your blue, to 49. And then you go to your green, which is 49 to 55. And from the green you go to orange, yellow, I beg your pardon, yellow, 55, orange I should say, where am I? Yeah, yellow. 55 to 59, 9. And red, orange is 59 to 63, 59 to 63. And then you go to your infrareds, which you can't see. And that's from 63 to 10,000. You can copy those down and be sure you remember them, because you can probably obtain them somewhere else anyway. But these are the frequencies that you're going to have to use, and also you'll have to use those frequencies in the harmonic sense as well as the energy sense. Now, when I speak of harmonics, that's the sound that the frequency makes. If you wanted a certain note on the piano, you go up the piano till you get to it. You do not get that note one before it or one after it. Only on that particular place do you get that harmonic. And it is the same with nature. There are places with the laws of nature where things happen every time, always the same thing, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can come to, we'll say, when we're talking about the elements, in between the elements you have degrees before you get to this one. Now this element here is always that element until it gets to the other one, adding bits to it. In other words, the in-betweens. They call them isotopes. That's in between this frequency and that one. Now, the harmonic is something that you're going to have to use. If there are any musicians amongst you, you have a head start on everybody else. But I'll give you some harmonics that are most unusual for you. One is the speed of light. You know it's 186,000 miles a second. Well, it has a harmonic. And the harmonic is 1439. That's the harmonic of the speed of light. I can't go too much into these. I'll just give you these because you'll be able to refer to them later on. Now, if you have a speed of light harmonic, you also have an anti-speed light of harmonic. And the anti-speed of light harmonic is 6950. 6950. These are round figures. Now, gravity acceleration. You're going to have to use that too, believe me. It will all come in your crystals. Gravity acceleration is 45.5. That's gravity acceleration. Now what do we have on the other side of it? Anti-gravity acceleration, which is 3930. That's the speed of light, anti-speed of light, gravitational acceleration, gravity, and anti-gravity. They'll come in handy for you later on. There's one that we should know that will come into many, many things, not so much in your crystal, but it is the Earth mass acceleration, or the harmonic is 1703. 1703. Earth mass. We have to now bring into the scheme of things the shape. All the shapes I described to you, all these shapes here, hexagons, triangles, they are all governed by pi. You know what pi is, don't you? 3.1415. They are all governed by pi, but don't let that worry you. Only if you're measuring your waves from the crystal, after you've measured your force field, then you would want to know more about that. But I think that was probably going a bit too far for what we want here. It doesn't, it will not, it might confuse some of you, so I'll leave that one alone. But the what you should know and realize is that we have gone past the gravitation of liquids, or gaseous I should say, liquids, solids, and we've come to the crystal, which is the fourth state of matter. And the fourth state of matter has the rules and regulations like I've been talking about, but they're not random. They're laws of nature. They are not random, they're not arbitrary, they are, you can't argue about them. The laws of nature in the crystal it's all preformed. Now, I say that because a natural crystal has these qualities, but a crystal man-made, and they're making a lot today, would not have them. And just like, to mention another crystal, a ruby. A ruby is going to play a tremendous part in our healing and everything else with crystals, but not until you remove one light refraction from it. A ruby contains 2 light refractions. The crystal contains 1. Now there is a way to remove the 1 light refraction from a ruby, and I don't think that need interest us here. But a ruby will play a large part in healing. Another thing, I told you about the shapes. And the shapes themselves will determine a lot of the direction of your the energy you send out.